Hey everybody, I'm Aaron Simmons, and this is Philosophy for Where We Find Ourselves, May 23rd, 2020. So last night we had a fairly big storm roll through. In fact, the first couple minutes of the storm were some of the strongest winds I've actually ever seen. And one of my trees, you can see here behind me, did not make it through the storm. It got pulled over and knocked down, and it caused me to think about a philosophical point that is, I think, helpful for us to think about in these difficult times, and that is the importance of foundations, of substructures. That genuine growth upward requires genuine stability downward. In other words, it's important that we figure out what matters most to us, where our anchors are, so that those anchors can hold when the winds begin to blow. Now, you'll notice this tree, again, it's not huge, but it's definitely pretty good size. Look here at the roots. They are interestingly small for how big of a tree this actually is. Just sort of one big root running off to the side. Now what this means is that this tree, though doing an enormously impressive job going upwards and expanding out and stretching towards the sun, it didn't do a good enough job of digging in, of finding what it is that really was its anchor, what was gonna hold it steady. So what is it for you that holds you steady, that keeps you hanging on, that allows for traction to remain in place even though the winds pick up? I know that a lot of us have different views on what that might be, and I'm not here to tell you that there's a particular thing that should stand as your anchor, but instead to invite you to dig deep. We've got to remember that just like when we plant a tree in our yards, that the hole has to be 3 or 4 times as big as the root ball in order for us to provide that tree adequate support for the type of growth that we want to see from it. The same is true in our intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and personal lives. Are we living lives that actually are a $10 tree in a $5 hole? Or are we recognizing that that $5 tree can end up growing into a $100 tree if we provide the right sort of space for it to grow? Let's do that today. Let's be invested in creating the right kinds of roots. Let's dig deep, let's breathe deep, and then let's move forward and stretch towards the sun together. I hope this is helpful. I'll see you tomorrow unless a piano falls on our heads.